The 2020 to 2021 school year was a very different and difficult year for me. Most of my schooling usually takes place outside the home. With the pandemic, all my activities were either canceled or modified, but I still managed to have a fun school year. The first thing that happened was we bought an RV. We found a campground 20 minutes from home. I did a lot of fishing and making campfires. We took it to Ohio for a wedding, and my dad and I took it to Texas twice so I could get the vaccine early. My karate class moved outside until it got cold. Then it was canceled for the winter, and we just started back up this spring. My dad and I played softball with our church softball team. I put up a tiny art gallery in my window so people walking by could see my art. I took several virtual art classes with my mom. I liked the painting part best. I also learned how to make a collage and to make 3D cardboard sculptures. I made a birdhouse and entered it in the Frederickson Library Birdhouse Contest and won first place in my age group. I learned about ephemeral art. That is art that isn't supposed to last. My mom and I made ice sculptures to hang in our tree. They turned out pretty neat. I took part in the Fall Acton Children's Business Fair. I sold Casey's Epic Plant Food. I had two products, both made from rabbit manure. One was Cottontail Compost, a soil additive, and the other is Bunny Berry Brew, a compost tea fertilizer. I made $60 and won $50 for having the most unique business. I used my 4-H embryology book to successfully hatch eggs in my incubator. I monitored the eggs every day. When they started hatching, it was very exciting. Eggs hatched, but one chick died. I sold 3 chicks and kept 2, Cooper and Cosmo. I participated in a virtual 4-H program called Wildlife is All Around Us, Winter Edition. I dissected an owl pellet and learned about barred owls and built a barred owl house. I helped the American Literacy Corporation with its weekly virtual Zoom Zoo, an animal education program. I taught about proper care of rabbits, and I made and showed an iMovie about preventing heat stroke in pets. These are some of the planters I made in art. I learned about different ways to propagate plants and grew a lot of plants from my pots. I watched several virtual lessons on astronomy and made a spectrometer to look at light. 4-H was virtual this year. I'm the club president. Since all our fairs and farm show were canceled this year, we signed out the display case in the Frederickson Library for the month of April to show off our projects. I conducted 2 recorded interviews for our 4-H meetings. I interviewed Kristen Zellner, owner of Abramson Weekly General Store for Animals, and Alexis Steer, who fostered kittens. One thing I did for poetry was to see the new statue in Harrisburg of Hugh Harper, an African American poet. Here's my magnetic poem. I like reading poetry, but I don't really like writing it. I participated in the Spring Acton Children's Business Fair. My business this time was Keegan's Urban Farm Stand. It was a accumulation of many projects over the course of this year. I sold plants I propagated and the planters I made. Lots of people came to shop. I sold eggs for my chickens and I designed all my labels and signage. I also made and sold some of my artwork. I made lavender bath salts to sell, and I had fresh herbs from the garden for sale. My mom taught me how to make hummus, and I made plain and herb hummus. I made tote bags out of rabbit and chicken feed bags and sold them too. It was a big success. I did a pop-up urban farm stand on my front porch the next day to sell what was left over. I made $120 in profit. I took Japanese this year. It was so much fun. I ended the year with takeout from a local Japanese restaurant. I liked udon yaki and chicken gyoza. I did not like the sushi or rice drink.